Nights became so complicated. Can't recall my mornings, everything is faded. Maybe this is karma, definition of jaded. This stays on my mind, this stays on my mind. Trying to put
7 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be talking about a social experience, should I say experiment, that was conducted on TikTok. They're calling it the social experience that churches don't want you to know about. Let me pull up the information that we're going to be looking at. Basically, how we're going to conduct this video is we're going to look at the actual experiment. We're going to look at the young lady who conducted it, what it's about, and then we're going to look at several of the videos. Then we're going to look at people's reaction to it, and then we're going to look at some churches' reaction to it. So the young lady's name was Nicole, I believe. She conducted a social experiment of several churches just to see how they would react. I don't know what made her do it, but for whatever reason, she decided to do it. Now, the first video that I saw about it was this one right here, and I'm going to show it to you guys.
See if they're willing to buy a can of formula, one can of formula for a baby, and she tells them that she's been out since last night. Okay, she's calling these churches up, and are you hearing the responses of these churches? Now, if somebody calls you on the phone and they tell you that a baby has not eaten since last night and they need one can of formula, your only job is to ask them how quickly they can meet you at the nearest store. We're not skimming around and making you wait till Wednesday or calling somebody else on the phone to get approval. That's a fresh $20 bill. And if you ain't got it, you got a credit card somewhere that you can charge it to. And if you ain't got it there, then we're going to be asking strangers on the way till we get there because we're buying a baby a can of formula. The fact that I'm hearing people say that they can't buy a baby, an infant, a can of formula because you're not a member of the church. Well, honey, I don't know if Jesus is a member of your church. I'm not sure if he's ever showed up to any of your sermons because, quite frankly, I don't know how that is a representation of being like Christ-like. Are you not supposed to be called to be like Christ? Now, if he can feed a multitude, you can buy a can of formula. That I know for sure. You ought not need nobody's approval to do it either. And you can't be struggling so hard that you can't afford a can of formula. For crying out loud, we've got a government that can't even agree on nothing, and people out here that's trying to figure out what they're going to do because they need assistance and help, and they can't even turn to the church to get the church to help them out. Listen, I understand that the church can't help every single solitary person on the planet, but you can buy a can of formula. You can use common sense to know that a can of formula ain't breaking the bank. And do you honestly think that your response of telling someone you can't buy them a can of formula is moving them one step closer to a relationship with God? Do you think for 1 second that that's causing them to be in a place where they're looking and seeing a loving Father that cares for them and wants to meet their need? And the fact that this woman is calling around and now you're exposed and people are hearing exactly how you're responding, you should be deeply ashamed of yourselves. There should be a long, hard search within your policy and in your own heart specifically to ask yourself why it is that you would turn down a baby getting formula. Now, I don't care what your prejudice is. I don't care how many times somebody's used you for something. She ain't even asking you for the money. She's asking specifically for the can of formula, and she can come meet you to pick it up. Now, I'm absolutely appalled at that. I'm appalled at it. You do realize as a Christian, there are so many opportunities that's going to cross your path where God is going to test you to use you. that he's going to ask you if you will allow him to slip his hand into the glove of you and let you be used so that you can work and do something in the life of others.
Now, I want to say this. First of all, one of the comments said heavy, heavy on the I don't know if Jesus is a member of your church. I didn't even know how to take this entire experiment for the simple fact that for those of you who are members of my main channel, Just Me CMB, um, oftentimes I have said on this channel that Jesus is the family business. I grew up in a family that was very religious. My uncle, a preacher, my cousin, a preacher, my other uncle, a preacher. Um, their friends, all preachers. One of my good friends' daddy, a preacher. I mean, church was the family business. We went to church. We lived a Christ like life, uh, the way the Bible intended it, not, out here saying and doing and not being. Today, if this situation had come to our church, the church that my family goes to here in Arkansas primarily, um, I would guess that that minister would have pulled a $20 bill out of his pocket. It wouldn't have even been a matter of the church. It would have been a matter of the individual who got the call. I believe that the lady that is the secretary at the church was one time the secretary at one of our schools here, the school that I actually went to as a child. Where I'm going with this is everybody that I can think of that this call would have hit at the church would have just acted. They would not have looked for a benevolent this or benevolent that. Quite frankly, if it had gotten to my aunt's attention, she would have went and found the young lady and kind of ministered to her in a way of, what else can we help you with? How can we help you be in a position that you're not needing to call the church anymore, that you can facilitate this? Can we help you get a job? Can we help you this? Can we help you that? Like most of the people, that's what they would have done. They would have found a way to feed that baby. And so the way that this experiment has come across to all the churches, whether they thought it was a scam or not, because I've heard that even mentioned, but the way that they reacted to the young lady is really sad to me.
Mm-hmm. You are blessed to be a blessing. God blesses your life and makes your life flourish so that you can also bless other people.
Other people.
There's scripture in the Bible where the Bible talks about if someone comes and tells you that they need a coat, don't just say, I'll pray for you and send them on their way. Give them a coat. Give them a coat. It's great to pray for people. We need to be praying for people. But sometimes you don't have to pray and ask the Lord for something. Sometimes the Lord is like, yeah, you can totally do that. You can feed a baby. I'm cool with that. I'm absolutely cool with you feeding a baby. Are y'all on that side of TikTok where that lady's calling her?
That's the first thing I saw. So it definitely got me intrigued. So then I went looking for the actual young lady who conducted the experiment. Um, and then I, tried to look more into it. I got a couple of different videos that came up. Um, I think this is the second one I got.
Per request, I'm calling Living Faith Christian Center.
Now, this is the young lady who actually did the experiment. And this is going to be one of the churches, I believe, that is going to have something to say.
Hey, I was wanting to see if y'all could help with a small can of baby formula. I have a 2-month-old and she's been out since last night, so she's gone all night and all day without anything to eat.
We don't have any formula around, darling. I'm sorry. None. No diapers, anything.
Now, I'm going to say this too. I didn't realize when it comes to an infant, a child that has went over 12 hours without eating, they say is actively um, slowly becoming um, tran- they're slowly transitioning from being alive to unalive. That's crazy to me.
Could that be something you all could get and I could just pick it up?
No, we can't right now. I'm sorry.
Okay.
What a very telling social experiment, because Miss Nickley, I think that's how you say her name, called scores of churches. And guess what? Many of them just gave her the number to a food bank, which, granted, I do believe a lot of they donate directly to the food banks. So they could just be saying, we can't give it to you, but the food bank can. So I'm not trying to cause outrage here, but the only 3 out of many of these phone calls that said, yes, come get food, come get formula for your baby. 1 was a mosque, and 2 were Southern Baptist black churches. I'm very impressed that those churches willing to step up and help others. This is like what y'all been training for, right? Is that not the purpose of church and Christ's teachings, to feed the hungry, to help the sick? And if not, then why aren't we taxing churches?
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now, per request, I'm calling Living Faith Christian Center.
Now, I believe the Living Faith Christian Center is one of the churches that had something not so nice to say. They were not happy that they were one of the churches that was called, and they're even more so unhappy that I guess that they were put on blast. I want to know in the comments how you guys feel about the experiment. Do you feel that she didn't conduct herself in a manner that was because somebody called her devil? Yes, they called her devil because she did the experiment. I mean, this experiment in a lot of ways was not received well. And so um, let me see if this is the guy. Okay, so here's the video. Here's the video of the pastor that had something to say.
For being an ex-stripper and for being a lesbian. Okay, well, this lesbian stripper was testing these churches. Churches were failing, and then trying to make me feel bad for being an ex-stripper and for being a lesbian. Okay, well, this lesbian stripper has done exactly what I was asking these churches to do.
We had a little situation. Some call it a situation. And the person who goes around calling churches and putting the voice of a baby crying in the background. And I say, really the person is low. So I don't apologize to the devil. Sometimes Christians get so weak, you forgot we're supposed to rebuke evil. So if you could pretend to have a crying baby to try to call churches and to trick people into things, do your little dirty deed, and it's just the spirit of a witch. It's a witch. And my Bible says he do not allow that thing to live. A few little TikTok demons came up in here today. Please stay for the rest of the service. Please stay. But you will behave yourself. If this is not one of them churches you're going to come and disrupt it, you will be dealt with very, very swiftly in Jesus' name. Every mother that had a baby, what's the first thing they give you before you leave? Put it on the screen. The first thing they do to a mother is because the baby needs food. Okay. Now this is on the Louisiana website for WIC. And the first thing you're going to see, they say, we open. Even though they got people of mental levels that I'm not sure about in DC. But in Louisiana, your WIC still works. And so this is what you do. So for all the little TikTok demons, since y'all don't know how it works, this is where you get your milk. Amen. How many of y'all ever been to Ruth Chris? Okay. But if you get to Ruth Chris, walk up in there and tell the people you're hungry and don't have some money.
you're going to jail. So it's amazing how people have sense other places. But you get on social media and you can let a witch take your mind and take you to another place. But
oh my God, like they would have literally let like a baby go hungry. And so that was really hard on me emotionally. Like it really took a toll on me. So it was really hard. So whenever I got a yes, I focused on that yes. And I will say this, I didn't realize today the impact of those churches until I went to your favorite Appalachian, Pepos Church, and he was telling me about the impact from the other side of the ones that got the no's. I would much rather these churches and us go, okay, like we're all human, we all make mistakes, we can all improve. If we have to jump through hoops to feed a baby and it's going to take 3 weeks to feed them, or we have to wait and talk and decide if a baby gets to eat, that's something we have to fix. Like there has to be something in place to fix this so it doesn't happen again. Let's work together. Let's find change. Because I do see the negative comments on there, and there was a lot of people that was upset I was testing these churches. Churches were failing.
So guys, I think his reaction was very, very wrong. I understand feeling a ways when this was put out just raw and uncut, and you really didn't have a way of changing how it happened or how you look. But the thing of the matter is this: what you do in front of a multitude of people does not depict who you are. What you do in front of nobody is what depicts who you are, what type of vessel you are for God, what type of vessel you are for the people. Because there's a saying, you say you love God, but you don't love the person standing next to you in the grocery line, or the person standing next to you, or living next to you in the house next door. I mean, that is something to consider. That's something to think about. Um, it just is. And the church, if it's just not in their ministry to help, it would have been better for him to say that, look, we don't handle those type of situations, so we acted accordingly. Now, the young lady answering the phone could have taken it upon herself to fix the situation, but they did not. And they did it for this reason. Instead, he was almost arrogant and threatening, and the people in the church equally. Now, another one of the churches that was called was it's called Germantown Church, out in Germantown Baptist Church. And a young lady who used to go to this particular church um had a few things to say as well. Let's go ahead and hear what she had to say.
Church that I grew up in as a child, Germantown Baptist Church, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee.
Expect this kind of thing from radical, woke, unbelieving trolls who wish to disparage the gospel and God's church.
And all I can say is that tracks. So I will say that that church was one of the few that actually did say yes, but on one condition. Do you go here? Are you a member? And that is code for, do you tithe here? Have you helped us contribute to our huge media command center? Have you participated in helping us purchase this 2-story tall poinsettia Christmas tree in our main lobby? Have you pitched in towards the camels that we've rented and the heated tent that we're going to be putting them in for our Christmas pageant, where we can more authentically show you the Middle Eastern migrant that we all worship? Because at the end of the day, it really is about that. Now,
And see, that's sad because at the end of the day, it should be about God and what He led us to do, what who He led us to be, and the innocent people that we're supposed to be able to help, just like he came to help us. Um, Regardless to whether we tithe, he died for us and didn't ask us for a thing. That is the uh, prototype. So forgive me if I'm not saying things exactly right, but like I said, I grew up in church. Now, as an adult, I have not, especially recently, been a person who's went every Sunday. I'm not going to lie to you. Do I do everything perfectly? I'm pretty sure I don't. Um, what would I have done in this situation? Help that lady. Introduced her. Not only, first of all, I would have got the baby the milk. Probably would have got him some food. Well, there was a 2 month old, so yeah, no. I would have helped her with the milk. I would have got her some powdered milk, and then I would have talked to her and educated her about WIC. I would have talked to her about other resources that are available and tried to find any way that I could not only help her today by giving her a fish, but then find a way to teach her to fish so that she nor I would have to worry about her baby being hungry again, because that is something that would have resonated with me.
I went to that church, it's going on 30 years ago. I'm sure a lot has changed, but it does appear that a lot has remained the same. When I went to that church, I heard a sermon where I was told if you showed up here in a motorcycle, turn around and go home. If you're gay, turn around and go home. When I finally got old enough to drive my own car, I left that church, parted ways with my family on Sundays, and I went to a different church because that church was the first place where I started going, something's not right. This isn't right. This does not feel like Jesus at all. Now, I probably have some people who are seeing this who I grew up with who still go to that church. And to you guys, I say, I think that you need to just sit with some of the discomfort here, because watch this clip.
I'd like to have my own social experiment, if I could, for just a second. If somebody walked in the back door right now asking for a can of baby formula, how many of you would help? Just show by a raise of hands. There's your social experiment. That's who GBC is.
Now, see, this is my problem. This is exactly what I meant when I said that what you do when nobody's watching is who you are. Of course, they'll raise their hand in front of people. It's a freaking camera recording the entire service. So yeah, you're gonna say yes here, whether you do it or not. That's what matters, because what they did in the dark, that's what they do. When nobody's watching, that's what they would do.
Of course you would. If someone came to your face and asked you for help, you would absolutely give it. I know you would. But that's the thing about this cruise ship Christianity that churches like that are doing, is they are lulling you into this sense that doing what Christ asked us to do is a choice that we get to do when it feels good, when it feels comfortable, when the right person asks, rather than it being a command from Christ. He went on to say in a different clip that I don't have yet, if I do, I'll drop it here, that that woman is trying to steal your joy. That this church and many churches like it, that's what they believe, that your faith, your Christianity, your everything that you're doing in your faith is about your personal comfort and your personal joy. And someone holding a mirror to your face and saying, the fruit isn't fruiting, this is not the fruit of Jesus, that does feel bad. That does steal your joy. And I think, though, what you need to do with that is be with that. Like, hold on to it for a minute, that discomfort. It should be embarrassing. It should be embarrassing that this church has as much opulence as it has, while there is still so much homelessness and hunger right there in Memphis, Tennessee. And you'll say, well, they do donate, they do charity, they do contribute. I'm sure they do. And yet there is still hunger and homelessness in Memphis, Tennessee. And there is a church with all of that wealth using it on renting camels. Okay. When I came back to Memphis to do my doctoral work and finish my PhD, I would go volunteer at a homeless shelter there, where we would prepare the meals, serve the meals, and sit with these homeless people while they ate. And the people who ran that homeless shelter were begging us every week, us volunteers, can you stay longer? Can you do more? Can you come next week? Can you sit with them and just talk to them longer like they're human beings? There are not enough people helping. There is not enough money funding these places. And it should be embarrassing that a church like that has still got that much wealth left over after the good that they're doing. And they're
So her point is to say that they're not doing enough. Um, would a church in the top echelon of churches in a city go and help in the lowest part of the city? Will that is that something that is done often? I bet you it isn't. I bet you it isn't. I don't know how many times that I've wanted to be in a situation to where I go and um, feed veterans, homeless veterans. Um, there's a lot of reasons I haven't. I mean, money was not one that would have stopped me. I guess not having a multitude or enough people to facilitate it, having someone to go with, just, you know, uh, I mean, I could go on about that. It's really not the main point of the video, but the point is nothing, no matter where you are in life, nothing should stop you from helping another. I would not, I wouldn't let someone stop me from helping somebody that needed my help. Um, doing a big project as going to feed veterans, I guess that's something that I could work toward, but it's not something I've done before. Actually, it's something that I still need to do. I feel like that's a like she said, a command. That is something I think that I was meant to do that I've yet done. So it's like you need to do it before it's too late. But anyway, the last thing that I would like to show you guys in this presentation and talking about this situation, um, I'm going to bring up now. I have the video of the other guy, but I don't want to make this too long. What I do want to bring up is I have two more videos that I want to show you guys. Actually, I have three more, but I'm not sure if I'll have time for that last one because I want to give you videos that are have a little bit more pressing meaning. So I'm going to put this video right here, and I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about what he had to say.
Man, this shit with the churches denying the fucking what's the name pissed me off so bad. I went and did something. I went to my corner to the dope boys, niggas who sell hard drugs, and went, hey yo, there is our mom down the street who just needs one can of formula. Can any of y'all help? All of them reached in their pocket. All of them. All 7 of them. From the youngest to the oldest. All of them reached in their pocket. They was like, what? We can get the baby something to eat. Your church is less moral than the neighborhood crack dealer, than the neighborhood dope boy. Fuck your church. But luckily, well, not luckily, unfortunately, there is a girl in my building who do got a young baby, who do need some help, and would love the free formula. So she got 7 cans of free formula today. 7 dope boys selling dope in the cold can figure out a way to feed a baby. But your church can't? Your church can't? Your church?
That was very compelling to me. I'm just being honest. Like, come on, what? It just reinforces the question: what kind of world are we living in today? What kind of world are we living in that they didn't care enough, that they didn't even have a second thought about this situation? Um, Crazy. So I'm going to. This was kind of lightening the mood a little bit, but I'm going to play it because it's relevant. Uh, what this young lady said.
Anytime I have ever needed help, anytime anyone has ever needed help, and you ain't even got to go there, they help them. The pastor himself will come out of his own motherfucking pocket, members. But anytime I have ever needed members, but anytime.
Okay, sometimes I get these videos that do this.
If
I
it
don't know
was
what it is.
a list of people that lady should have called instead of the mega churches to get that baby some formula.
Okay, here we go.
Number one, the strip club. I guarantee you, had she dialed the number to her local strip club and spoke to any of them girls up there and told them with that baby crying in the background, I guarantee you, she would have left with baby formula, new clothes, probably a new outfit for her and the baby. If she'd have called the strip club, number one on my list, and I say that as a former stripper, baby, I promise you, they'd have fed that motherfucking baby. Number two on my list, dope boys. Yeah, the niggas on the corner moving that weight. She could have called any of them. She could have went down to any of the corners in the hood and told any of them niggas out there selling dope, hey, my baby ain't ate since last night. I guarantee you, they would have fed that motherfucking baby. Strippers and drug dealers will feed your baby. Another one before I forget. Drag queens, baby. She could have went to any of the ballrooms, any of the drag clubs, sweetie. They would have fed that motherfucking baby. In a heartbeat. Another thing, them little churches. Y'all sleep on them little bitty churches because you want to go to the ones that's fancy with the TVs and the helicopters and stupid shit that don't even help you. Less members in the church, the more likely they are to help somebody. I bullshit you not. My mama been going to the same church at least about the last 20 years. Little bitty church. Baby, they probably got less than, I know they got less than 100 members. But anytime I have ever needed help, anytime anyone has ever needed help, and you ain't even got to go there, they help them. The pastor himself will come out of his own motherfucking pocket to help them. And I've seen it. Little bitty churches. Baby, y'all got to get away from these mega churches because they are scams. Those are businesses, baby. They're businesses. God ain't in there. Jesus would have flipped the motherfucking table on their ass. A list of people that lady should have called instead of the mega churches.
That tickled me. So, guys, I just want to say that I feel that this was a teachable moment for some of those churches. That the people even that's answering the phone should have had a better, they should have had a heart. Goodness gracious. Whether you heard the baby crying or not, you should have at least had resources that you could send her to. Look, this is not something that we do here. I can't personally, help you, but here are some resources for situations similar to this. If they don't have them, they should have taken the time to educate them, their secretaries or whoever own these type of resources, and made it available. That's what they should have done. Period. I don't think a lot of places are prepared for these type of situations, and this was a moment of clarity that should have let you know that this is the world that we actually live in today. These are things that happen in this world that we live in, so we need to prepare accordingly. I just really feel like that a lot of these churches and a lot of these people dropped the ball. Now, let me know in the comments, number one, what would you have done? Number two, would your church have done the same? And foremost, what do you think about the experiment? Is she wrong for doing it? Is she wrong for bringing something to the forefront that, in my opinion, needed to be put out there? Let me know what you guys think. Now, I'm going to play this last video, and then that's all I have for you in this video. But this was very, I thought this was a very important piece of information to know. So I'm going
Black churches
to.
said yes. Muslim communities said yes. Buddhist centers said yes. White churches said no. Why? The difference is in the theology, who you think God is, how you think God works, and what you value as sacred. Islam has zakat, mandatory charity giving. It's one of the 5 pillars. And sadaqah, voluntary giving. Both are about fulfilling your own obligation to Allah by responding to need. The subconscious question isn't, is this person deserving of need? It is, am I fulfilling my obligation to Allah? When the question starts with, am I, there are no questions for the woman asking for help. The focus
And that's how it should have been. This is not about, I'm going to help you because you have checked all the boxes. It should have been about basically what would Jesus do type of situation.
focus is on the giver's spiritual duty, not the receiver's worthiness. You don't get spiritual credit for helping the right people. Buddhism's dana, the practice of generosity, isn't about the receiver's worthiness at all. You're practicing letting go of attachment to resources and responding to suffering when you encounter it. The person asking for help is actually giving you an opportunity to practice dana. Christianity has this too. Early Christians had common purses, sold properties when someone was in need, and practiced radical hospitality. No verification, just need met by response. Many Black churches maintain this. Black churches worship a God who was born poor, who fled state violence as a refugee, who got executed by empire. So what happened to white Christianity? White Christianity created a different God entirely. It's a religion of capitalism and white supremacy with Christian vocabulary. This God rewards hard work with wealth. This God makes poverty a sign of moral failure. Prosperity gospel made it very explicit. If you're poor, God must be punishing you. If you're rich, God must love you. So when a poor woman calls, she's calling someone God loves to help someone God is punishing. And this merged perfectly with white supremacy. If poverty is a moral failure, and you've systemically kept Black and brown people poor, then their poverty proves their inferiority. The welfare queen rhetoric, the suspicion of poor mothers, that is theology saying that Black and brown women are morally suspect.
And that's why I feel the way I feel about Anton Daniels. He's always on the welfare queen boat talking about people being radical left, which has nothing to do with their situation. They could have been born poor. They never had the right opportunity to fix themselves. So they have become the product of their environment. That doesn't make them a welfare queen. It just makes them unfortunate, maybe, or makes them a person who doesn't have the direction to fix the situation, don't know where to go, don't know where to start. And he is so very intentional about being dismissive and being negative to these people.
This God requires inequality. This God doesn't look like Jesus. This God looks like a plantation owner. This God looks like a bank. This God measures worth in dollars and skin color. So when a poor woman calls to ask for formula, these churches hear that someone who probably failed morally is asking us to interfere with God's justice system. Helping without verification threatens their theology. It threatens their entire worldview. Because if that woman deserves help despite being poor, then maybe poverty isn't God's punishment. Maybe their wealth isn't proof of God's favor. Maybe they're not the good guys and they can't live with that. If need alone is enough, the God of capitalism and white supremacy cannot exist. White churches built verification processes because their God requires proving worthiness. Others practice immediate mutual aid because their understanding of the divine requires responding to need. The cruelty isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature of the theology. The hungry baby becomes a test of the mother's worthiness. Christianity goes from sell everything and give it to the poor to this.
Our benevolence is for our members.
The solution to all of this isn't that white Christians need to be nicer with charity. It requires giving up power. It requires dismantling the institutional infrastructure built around control. It requires white churches to stop partnering with empire and start practicing solidarity with the dispossessed. And that is a lot harder than helping one woman buy formula, which is why they rather let the baby starve. If you enjoyed this, I welcome you to my Patreon community, where we are deconstructing and reconstructing women in the Bible. Come join a group of mystics and rebels to explore, question, and reclaim the holy egg together. Black churches said yes.
She said a lot there, but it made a lot of sense as well. So guys, this is all I have for you here. I would like in my closing thoughts to say I feel that this was a teachable moment for a lot of places that failed. I mean, simple and plain, they failed. So tell me what you think. Tell me what you would do. And also share this with another person who you think would value this information and has a positive or even negative input on the situation. I'd love to hear it. I do read all the comments and I definitely love to hear it. Thank you guys for taking the time to check out this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
She said, take your time, what's the rush? I said, baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mud. She said, take your time, what's the rush? I said, baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mud. I'm a dog, I'm a mud. I get smoked already so hard in my blunt is. I see past pretty faces, so I got trouble trusting. But I let my guard down for you. Said I'll put my guard down for you. Said I'll be vulnerable, so you can break my heart if you want to. She said, take your time.